Hey guys, Andos.gaming here. Hope you are having a good day and welcome to another Warzone video. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about flicking. Basically, what flicking is when you flick your crosshair onto an enemy in a very fast movement. The purpose of a flick is to acquire your target as fast as possible. So before we begin though, I'm just going to give you some context on why I decided to make this video. So in most of my videos, I emphasize the importance of centering and tracking when it comes to playing Warzone. A while back, I received a comment from Mr. Question Mark on one of my aiming videos, and shout out to Mr. Question Mark. I hope he's having a good day. And he mentioned, Andos, you're slow at flicking between targets, but your aim is so smooth and steady on the enemy. So yeah, he was nice about it, so that was fine. I didn't really think too much of it. And then Mr. Question Mark, my good friend, sent me a video to watch. So as you can see in the background, NeoNinja, shout out to this guy. I'll leave a link in the description, so go check him out. His flicking is amazing. The beauty in life is there's always someone better than you at your craft. And the positive in that, it can be motivating to improve your skills. I decided to do an experiment to see how much I can improve my flicking skills in 7 days and to see if that can make me better at Warzone. In today's episode, I will give you all the tips, knowledge, and training methods to improve your flicking. At the end of the video, I'll also give you some statistics to see if I actually improved at flicking, and I'll let you know if it's actually worth training flicking for Call of Duty Warzone. So there'll be 2 training methods I'll be using in this video to improve my flicking skills. Method number 1, I'll be using an aim trainer called Kovaak. Method number 2, I'll be training in a custom bot lobby. Disclaimer, aim trainers are really only on PC at the moment, so if you are on console, I have made some timestamps, so for you guys, you can skip ahead if you prefer. In regards to Kovaak, I've chosen 4 scenarios and have listed them on the screen. These scenarios are just the ones I prefer. I think they're great. They combine flicking and a little bit of tracking as well. I will leave the scenarios in the descriptions for reference. Doing some research from the top flicking videos and articles and personal experience, these are the tips I would recommend for the mouse and keyboard players. Tip number 1 is knowing the difference between using your wrist or your arm to aim. I'm going to play some clips from Nothing and Shroud. They are top of the food chain when it comes to aiming in FPS games. Let's see what they have to say on the subject.
Shoot a bullet right there and try to snap back to the bullet with your wrist, So this is all wrist aim. I'll switch to arm aim. Now I'm gonna do the same thing. Put a bullet on the wall. This is my arm. It's bigger, see, right? I'm not gonna get as accurate. When you aim, for me, I don't know how this is. I know this is a way for a lot of people. Your wrist can control more. So like right here, I know how to snap to that with my wrist, right? See, that's my wrist. I know how to pull my wrist to that point. I'm aiming here. There's a guy there. I know. My wrist can only control from there to there. That's the distance of my wrist while it's planted, while this point doesn't move. So I'm just going like that. Hello, it's called waving. I'm waving. So the max distance of my wave is right there.
The aim and recorrection is your wrist. You know, if you flick too far, you recorrect with your wrist. But you kind of use your arm in bigger movements. You don't really aim with your arm.
Just going over what they mentioned, try to use your wrist for smaller movements and the arm for the bigger movements when it comes to flicking. In my opinion, you can also combine the two, however, try to lean more towards the smaller movements using the wrist for those fast flicks. Tip number 2, use your wrist as an anchor point. So you want the bottom of your hand and the wrist to be touching the mouse pad at all times. So this will act as an anchor point and can help you be more accurate and be more consistent. Tip number 3 is understanding the aim distance using your wrist. As mentioned before, you should know what your range is when using your wrist. You can do like a wave, and that should be able to tell you what your range is. Tip number 4 is focus on smoothness and accuracy over speed. When training your flicking, focus on accuracy and smooth mouse movements between targets. Don't try to run before you can walk. You'll improve much faster if you implement this mindset. Before moving on to the next section, I just want to mention, if you are using an aim trainer, remember to track your progress. You can track your progress using an online Excel version which is free. I'll leave a link in the description. Aim Labs is also another good option to train your aim, and it's free on PC. Quickly, if you could do me a favor, remember to smash that like button if you enjoyed the content or learned something new. Also sub to the YouTube channel for more Warzone content so you don't miss out on any future videos. To train your flicking specifically for Warzone, you want to jump into a bot lobby. The mode you want to choose is free for all, and the map you want to select is King. Pretty much what you want to do now is practice your flicking. You don't want to center at all when it comes to training your flicking. Basically what that means is, do not have the crosshair locked on the target. I want you guys to practice your flicking against bots and getting those repetitions. Over the 7 days and doing this for about an hour a day, I noticed a couple of things you should consider and keep in mind. If you flick onto a target and miss, which is quite common, start to strafe in the direction of the target and try to redirect the crosshair at the same time. Strafing will always make you a harder target to hit, and it also makes it easier to redirect if you overflick. So in this example, I flicked way too much to the left. So what you can do is strafe to the right. This way you just counter your mistake. So exact same scenario here. So remember the pattern, guys. I overflicked to the left. So I know I've made a mistake here. However, I just strafed to the right, just so I'll be able to hit my target. Once you're comfortable flicking and you want to move on to the next level, you can practice flicking to headshots only. So go into the settings and turn headshots only on. Now you'll be forced to flick to the head at all times. Training like this, you'll be able to develop the ability to snap onto the enemy's head and train your brain to go for headshots. I noticed that when I watch the best players in the world, they're really good at snapping onto the head. So I feel like this is a skill you want to develop if you want an edge. You want to focus your eyes on the target even before the flick. I notice when flicking, my eyes is always a little bit faster than my reactions. So what you want to do is focus your eyes on the enemy even before the flick. You can really notice the difference when you're taking on multiple enemies. So the concept is, I used to ride motorbikes. The instructor would always tell me, always look where you're turning next. So the same concept applies here. When it comes to flicking, focus your eyes on the target and flick accordingly. Remember to practice flicking when aiming down sight as well. This scenario can happen quite often in Warzone. For example, you're aiming down sight, however the enemy picks a different corner. If you want to practice at longer ranges, I recommend choosing the map Euphrates Bridge and you can practice there. Some final thoughts about flicking in Warzone. I would always prefer you guys to have good centering. Basically, when you have good centering, you don't need to flick onto the enemy at all and the target is already in sight. However, I think in Warzone there are so many variables and being able to flick on an enemy is an essential skill. So yes, I think training your flicking and getting comfortable with snapping onto enemies will give you a huge advantage over the competition. At the end of the 7 days, I was able to improve my average score. So what I did was I compared my day 1 to my day 7 scores, and as you can see on screen, there was a little bit of improvement there. It's only been 7 days. I'll probably continue practicing my flicking. I hope you guys did enjoy that video. I had a lot of fun making it. If you did enjoy it or learn anything new, make sure you smash that like button. Also, if you like Warzone tips and tricks videos like this one, make sure you sub to the YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any future content. And I'll probably leave it at this. I hope you have a beautiful day and enjoy Warzone.